Yeah, lights on, screens up, here we go. Welcome to Radish Digital's weekly show. Breaking down the plays, the pulls, the plans, straight from the floor of the battle arena stand. Hey, hey. Every week we're talking power and plays. What just shook the game? What's setting the pace? From big time heroes to moments that matter. If it moved the arena, we're on it right after. From Valley Hit House to Radish Digital. News and highlights, yeah, it's all official. Debates, rankings, what's coming next? If it's Boba talk, you can check the text. Turn it up, settle in, let the breakdown begin. This week at Bo Jackson Battle Arena.
Hosted by Slappy and Soothing.
Welcome to the arena. Hey, hey, hell.
I love
What's
it, Soothing. That is a great song. How long did it take you to come up with that song?
That was probably 8 iterations.
Wow.
And I couldn't get AI to say boba. It would say baba.
Yeah.
And so I had to end up spelling it out like Bo, like the name Bo, and then B-A-H, ba, like a lamb.
Yeah. It also has a hard time with live versus live, which is understandable.
Yes.
But to get it to say, you got to do the LYV. But even then, sometimes it doesn't. I think what's really hard is if you don't catch those things and you create a song, you can love that sound so much. And then it pains you because I almost live with AI mistakes in my songs because I'm like, it sounds too good with the mistake. Like it never sounds as good as.
No, fully agree with that. When I was making the Radish Digital the Christmas album, that was the big thing, was live versus live.
Yeah.
And I was like, and it was just one word in this, 2-minute song, but it would just piss me off to my core. And I couldn't find a way to get it fixed.
Yes. Well, hey, so Soothing, before we went on, of course, it's, I can't tell by your Smitholine clock behind you. I'm just kidding, but the plane looks like it could be a clock. Is that right now we're doing this live. So why don't you tell us, like, what's going on here?
Yeah, well, Slappy was welcoming enough to allow me to have, a little bit of one-on-one here once a week, kind of talk about what's going on in Bo Jackson Battle Arena when it comes to breaks, what people have hit, what's coming up, what events we have coming up, as well as talking about the Discord League, highlights from that, playability on certain cards, different trends that we're seeing. So I think it's going to be really good for the community, and I'm very honored to be able to be on the show, and I'm excited to see how it kind of develops over the next few weeks of how we do it. And this is obviously the first iteration, so maybe a little rough, but Slappy and I love to keep things fun and entertaining, so I think we'll have a good time either way.
Hey, I would say it can only get better, but maybe I suppose things could get worse.
I guess they could.
Well, and I think, Mitch, is like, for you and I, is that, and it's interesting when you talk about it, like, there's so much to talk about with Bo Jackson Battle Arena, and it, some ways you feel bad because, like, obviously, Mitch, like, you're an interesting person, like, right? We could talk about everything that's not Bo Battle in your life, but what do we end up talking about? We end up talking about Bo Battle all the time. And so I think that's the whole point of this, like, for me, is like the passion is like to talk about it a little bit more. And it's interesting, I think later you and I were talking before, which, for folks, like, just to let you know about the sausage making, like, Mitch and I didn't get together and say, like, all right, this is going to be the format of the show. We'll talk, kind of go over here, kind of go over. So it truly is by the seat of our pants. But Mitch, I was mentioning to Mitch, I wanted to share a video, and he was saying, like, where to fit it in. And I not now, we can put it in later. But what's interesting is when I dropped it in the Radish community, I made a point of saying it's funny because I think for people who are unfamiliar with Jeff Frenchie, the founder behind Bo Jackson Battle Arena, is that people think, like, I love this. This is a sports card like I've never collected before. I've never wanted to play a TCG. I love having a $5,000 collectible card that has utility. Like, I can do something other than look at it. And I think what's going to be really hard for those folks in the first year, for some of them, not all of them, is the change. And what I think people don't understand is that they see Bo Battle as something different than everything they've seen before. And they're like, okay, I can get used to this. This is different. This is crazy. This is wild. This is awesome. But what happens in year 2 when people are like, wait a second, what happened to everything that I knew? And I think it's important to know Jeff is like, he's a rolling stone. And the moss doesn't grow on him. So I think people need to know, like, and that's why there's so much to talk about with Bo Jackson Battle Arena, right? Every month, every week, every day, it seems like there's something different or new. And like, you can't say that about Tops, right? How many times can I wait? I said I was going to stop picking on Tops. How many times can you say that about Big Cardboard? Like, oh my gosh, this changed. Like, we're going to be talking about this for days. Like, does that really happen with Big Cardboard?
I haven't seen it. The last thing I saw with Big Cardboard was the Alter Egos, which, in my opinion, is just a straight copying of a game we know and love.
Absolutely.
So, but outside of that, I mean, yeah, I mean, you're totally right in the sense that things are always changing. I mean, obviously, with the Griffey release, we saw at least 5 new parallels, with the retail SKU, and we even saw some with the hobby SKU as well. But it's always changing. And the big thing too is, like, with these new parallels, they're finding new ways to make value in these parallels. And I absolutely love that, especially the Power Glove set. The whole idea behind the Power Glove set is phenomenal in my mind. Yes, you have 3 chase cards. You have the Bojack's 180, you have the Griffey 180, and you have the Muhammad Ali 180, or Butterfly Sting. But everything else is manageable. I think you can obtain those, and those can be your 3 chases, of course.
Right.
But I love that. I love that they're doing that. They're finding new ways to incorporate parallels and inserts to create a different competitive field for everybody. Just like Jeff always says, fit in where you can get in. And he is finding more and more ways for people to fit in.
Oh, you want to know something? It's actually, Mitch, you said, we'll see where we can fit in. The fact that you said not everybody can be at that level and fit in, so creating those opportunities. Do you mind if we play that video? Because I think it's gonna go to what you were talking about.
Yeah, let's do it.
One of the things we're going to be shaping up after the first of the year, we'll be announcing more of the competitive play stuff for next year. One of the things that I'll tell collecting is in our DNA. We want to make collecting part of the play experience. Collecting in and of itself is part of the strategy and the gameplay. Like a lot of our people that we're introducing to this, they're not TCG natives, they're collecting natives. So you can expect to see some things that may not be part of Apex, but still may have nice cash prizes and other prizes with them. But maybe you have to show up with an entire set of one particular type of card in order to participate in that. And that becomes the gauntlet for that. And we're going to have our accessible brackets where anybody can come and play, but we're also going to have things where if you collect certain things, because I think that was one of the things last year we saw with Madness. There was a really great market fit with the building component of Madness. And we want to lean into that more. And we certainly want people who don't have an Apex ticket to be able to participate and enjoy that. So you can expect to see more play that's outside of Apex. Prizes won't be as big, but still nice prizes and things you can participate in, even if you're not in Apex. Like it's time to increase the exclusivity there. And part of that is going to be some of these other collector brackets where you need to bring a full set of X in order to compete.
Well, there it is.
All right. So, yeah, Soothing, that was your first time seeing that video. Of course, that just released on Radish, but like, what are your thoughts, Soothing?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that Jeff does that just make sense. And, there's been times when he's announced something and it didn't really make sense to me at first, but it made very much sense to me like 24 hours later after thinking about it. And this one in particular just made sense right away with the Power Gloves. I mean, you're talking about a retail parallel, right? There's one in every single double mega box at retail level, which is accessible for people. I know that they want to use double megas for sealed play going forward. Like you're encapsulating this parallel, the Power Glove parallel in this retail SKU, which is more affordable than a hobby SKU. So, just like, I said, French, she says all the time, fit in where you can get in, and he's giving them more opportunity to do that. And just like he mentioned in that video too, was like, we love the Madness. And I didn't get the opportunity to play in Madness last year at the National, but I am building a team to play this year for Apex. But the ticket costed me quite a chunk of change, right? Sure. And if there's another opportunity for those people that don't want to spend that money for the Apex, but still can complete this deck and compete for $75,000, at the national with the Power Glove tournament, like that's awesome. That's so cool, because Madness, when I was watching it, was like the coolest thing ever. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to play in it and build the team. And I know my team's super excited to do it. But there's a part of my team too that's actually converting to do the Power Glove. Like they are currently fully completing the Power Glove set to be a part of that piece.
I want to just give a shout out to the audience. We've got Joe is especially excited for you, Soothing, this morning. Bang, bang, back to you, Joe. Whiplash, good to see you there. We've got Petrarca in here as well, tuning in from Portugal. So appreciate everybody live in the audience. And of course, we're talking about Bo Jackson Battle Arena, sports card slash TCG. Now, that's a question for you, Soothing. It's interesting because some people take, right, there's different ways to play Apex, to play Bo Jackson Battle Arena. And what's interesting is, coming away from National, I was still telling folks who had been there since day one that the Apex Madness tournament was simply war. And people still were under the assumption it was plays, it was strategy. And I kept having to explain, like, no, that's just how that's what it was. And if you look at when you think about the genius of Jeff, is the war level gameplay for Apex Madness. It really brings the barrier down. So somebody who's like, you're a lot younger than me, I'm younger, but when you get those 60-year-old investors, 60-year-old collectors, and you don't want them to be afraid, well, they can play war. They don't have to learn anything. But the bigger thing I was thinking is, Soothing mentioned he wasn't part of Apex Madness, he was watching it. And to me, it's more exciting. Like, yes, if you're going to totally nerd out on the gameplay, you'll get excited watching two people play with plays. But 90% of people are going to say, when they flip over that play and they're trying to calculate, how does it impact, this card, their card, the power level, their power level, what power level were they at? And then this, and like, wait a second, this is for the big $100,000. Who won? With Apex Madness, you just flip that freaking card over and like, boom, like there's the. So,
oh yeah,
I mean, getting back to it, like you mentioned Jeff's decision, like you are single-handedly building up the playing side of Bo Battle Arena. But the simple war Apex Madness that's got to be featured at National, because for the average person walking by the Bo Battle booth, right, it can't be about plays when they're watching the tournament.
Yeah, that was, that, like I said, it was genius. Like, I know that when the Madness tournament was announced, like way like before National, it was like, we're just playing war. It's like, well, what's the point of this? We're just playing war. Like,
right.
I can play war with a deck of cards, but like, well, okay, Morrow, all right. But like, it was so much more than that, because like when I walked into that booth and the Madness tournament was going on, and you had I forget who, I think it was Carter Boys, his kid had slapped a card down on the table and was just yelling and screaming because he beat the opponent by 5 points. It's like, that doesn't happen in war. I throw a queen down over a jack and it's like, okay, on to the next. But like, he was so pumped. Everyone was so pumped. Everyone was hyped. And then of course you had people like Cheryl Miller there, and you had, like it was just this
Chauncey
event.
Billups.
Yeah, Chauncey Billups. It was this event. And it was so much fun. And I think that really carried over that excitement. And it's going to carry it into 2026. And 2026, I think, is going to be even bigger. And it's just going to continue to go. And I think Madness is an awesome. Yes.
And of course, my pen pal, Carlton Fisk, Hall of Famer Carlton Fisk, who is now my pen pal because he walked our Apex team out. Sorry, I had to throw that in, Soothing.
Hey, love it.
I hope you get a pen pal from.
I hope so too. I hope so too.
All right. Well, so Soothing, what's on your mind? I know I'm excited to ask you about what you talked about. You were busy about this morning, but what do you want to talk about?
Well, I do want to talk about one thing, and I want to talk about supers getting pulled. And I know that we all kind of know, like, supers can come from any SKU. Obviously we had pulled a super from a jumbo. It was the Baldwin super. Bazooka had pulled a super from a jumbo. It was the John Smoltz super. But we had a new breaker in the community pull the Maverick super out of a double mega, which is a 195 power super, which is a massive, massive card. And to think that, out of a retail SKU, you have the chance to hit the top hit in the product is something that doesn't exist in big cardboard. That is only something that exists in Bo Jackson Battle Arena. And so to just think that like you can open up a blaster, like didn't the Super Bow 1 of 1 250 power come out of a blaster?
Yeah, the non-auto.
The non-auto.
So. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think so. Yeah.
You hit that out of a $40-$60 blaster, and you didn't have to go buy a $3,000 jumbo. Like the jumbos, of course, are cracked. Like we've seen that, especially with Griffey. You're seeing like 10 to 12 featured heroes. And yes, I am still in jail. I still have not pulled a super myself. And so it's a little heart-wrenching for your boy Soothing. But it's coming. I fully believe it's coming. But yeah, I mean, that's just one of the other things too. The like spread of hits. Of course, you have your hobby hits. You have your grandma's linoleum, and then retail. You have your great grandma's linoleum, and we do our grandma show, and adding great grandma's linoleum into that grandma's linoleum grandma show is amazing, and we love it, and it's super fun. But just to think that I could open up a blaster and pull a, card that has $100,000 bounty on it's crazy.
Right. Well, that's why looking at the original, of course, for folks who don't know that Frenchie has the worst luck when it comes to bounties. Before there was Bo Battle Arena, there was Home Team Heroes, and there was a bounty out. Of course, Frenchie being close to Atlanta is a big Atlanta fan, and there was a huge bounty out for Acuna, and it could not get hit. And like, I don't want to go through it. Like he took steps to literally put everything into everybody's hands and it still couldn't get hit. And so the Bo Jackson, of course, Bo had famously said he wanted the original, the Alpha Bo 1 of 1 auto card for his grandkids. So he was offering, hey, bring 3 friends, come golf with me, spend the day with me, and I'll treat you guys to golf. And normally at charity events, that goes for around $100,000. So the offers to whoever hit that were close to $100,000. It basically was $100,000 bounty that Bo himself was offering, or you could just take the day with Bo. And for the record, I told people like I'm a hacker. I would never take that. I sell it in a heartbeat because last thing I need is Bo is exactly the type of person who's going to make you walk with your pants down around your ankles if you don't knock it past the ladies' tee.
Easily.
Yeah. Like I want to spend all day with like Bo ridiculing my golf game. I'm like, I don't think so. I'm like, I'll sell it and I'll take my family to Scotland and then we'll talk about our Bo. But anyway, when it comes to the Bo, is that it makes you wonder about big cardboard. Like, how is it that all their chases always get hit? And then you have things like, it's not just the Alpha Bo auto. There's a lot of top cards from when the set was released a year ago that haven't been hit. And some people talk about, there's one collector who had a massive collection of jumbo and hobby, and they're like, oh, it's in that. But I don't agree. And like you're saying, Soothing, is there's one stinking pack sitting on a store shelf in Dubuque, Iowa, where happens to be no Bo fan who knows that store that's only open for 3 hours a day actually has some Bo packs, and it got shoved behind another box.
Battle Trainer kit. That's my theory.
Yeah, 100%. I think I would love to get, I know Eric S is busy from the team, but I've heard from a number of people, they'd love to hear how that works at the factory. Like, how do they take those bangers and like, how many workers, like, is it the manager? Because obviously one of the hard things is if you're a worker at a place like this, you got to know, like, you're touching a card that's worth $100,000. So does the general manager of the printing shop, like, does that stay in his office and he goes down to the floor at one point and he's going to insert it? Like, I would love to know, how is that so random?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I couldn't tell you, of course, but I'm sure they have a system in place. I mean, like I talk to Eric every once in a while, and I mean, he had kind of talked about just like what goes into collating, right? and just the like in-depthness of what he had said to me was just, it was beyond me. And so, I mean, they definitely have a system in place to get it out there and to make it to where everything's possible to be hit in every SKU. And so, you know, just going back to the blaster, even to the BTK, like if you guys don't know what a BTK is, it's a battle trainer kit. It's from Alpha. It came with a single booster pack, and then it was the starter kit, right? And so that single booster pack, that the running theory is that the Bow 1 of 1 is somewhere in one of those battle trainer kits in my circle.
Hopefully it's not the one I have still sealed.
Well, let's open it right now. No, I'm just kidding.
I can't get up to that floor. But according to Hen ruined it for me. He's like, and he doesn't even have it anymore, but he was keeping one of everything. So I have one blaster, I have one booster, I have, you know, jumbo, I have hobby, I have the trainer kit, I have I call them the macadamia nuts, the N24 box. I mean, it does look like, if you've ever been to Hawaii or someone comes back with those macadamia nuts, it's like, it looks like that. So I try to keep one of everything sealed. So hopefully it's not there. And that's what's really hard, right? Is that there's a lot of, this is a collecting community. So there's going to be a lot of sealed that's left. I know not everybody's capable of doing it, but for those of us who are, and just for the record, everything behind me is this stuff's going to get cracked. I don't have time. I'm behind on everything.
Well, let's hope that we see another super in one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess I'll talk about the other thing that happened today. We launched the season 2 of the Discord League, which was awesome. Phenomenal launch. All the games are scheduled now. Everybody knows kind of who they're playing the first week. We had 83 people sign up, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. We had 62 people sign up in the official league, and we had 21 people sign up in the beginner league. And then, Of course, after I launched it, I had about 3 or 4 messages from people. Oh, I forgot to sign up. Oh, can you still add me? And, you know, I wish I could. Got to keep a very strict scheduling now when it comes to the Discord League. So, yeah, right. Yeah. But yeah, I'm super excited. And the pricing with it, the support that Boba is showing to us is phenomenal.
That's how they're feeling, the people you're not letting in.
No, I know.
Hey, but you want to know, everybody who's in and is hoping to, you know, they follow the rules, they get in on time. I want to say life gets busy, but people met the deadline. And so for those who are already in, you know what they say to you, Soothing? Because that's the hard part. You want to be community oriented, but on the other hand, you're like, I want to win. And like, now let me ask you this. Did anybody who come to you late, you know, some real players in the community? Were there any premier players who missed the deadline that you can think? Yeah,
there wasn't. Well, of course, Mario in the chat, since he's in the chat, he's a premier player. I'm not going to say he's not a premier player, but yeah, he missed. But the one of the guys who I wasn't quite sure, because it was coming down to the last minute, was Mr. Galileo. I messaged him. And I was like, you know, dude, like, I don't see your name on this board. Like, are you planning to do it? And, you know, he's very busy, of course, but he ended up getting in. But as far as big players, most of the big players are in. Those guys that, you know, like Cursive and Lady Cursive and B-Dub and Knoxville Chris and Babuza, you know, those people are
according
in.
to Hand.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of which, Branch is not in.
Ooh.
So he is not in the Discord League. He was in Discord League season 1, not season 2. That's the only one I can think of off the top of my head, of course.
Yeah, not to put you on the spot. Like the hardest thing, folks, I just want to say is that I'm asking Soothing here. Well, he's trying to think about the show, think about everything, and he's got 100 things going. So last thing I want to do is, like, obviously there's some great players, and like you forget stuff when you're asked live while we're recording this. And of course, just a reminder, this is TWIB, This Week in Bo Jackson Battle Arena, with Soothing. And we're doing this. This is the first time we didn't really talk about it, because we just want to see how it went, see what works and doesn't work, which, by the way, would love your feedback. Different things that you want to see, different things you don't want to see. Soothing is like, not to segue back for a second, but you kind of see this as just, there's so much to talk about. Like and let's get back to the league in a second, but talking about the league, talking about the content we just dropped, where Frenchie's making it sound like there's going to be more just than the Power Gloves. There's going to be other things that they're going to be doing tournaments around. So you don't have, they're going to be Apex, they're going to be spec tournaments with serious prizes. So it sounds like all those, you know, parallels you thought weren't going to be that special. Wait for him to make an announcement. Sounds like it might. But what else? Like, I know you and I talked about guests. Like, have you given that much thought since then? And I know you don't have time to think, but what type of guests do you want to have on?
Yeah, of course. I think there's a different type of guest that we could have on every week. You know, with like, for instance, if we were maybe just a little bit more planned, we could have had Devin on the show today because he's doing his filthy 50 today, right? That's going to be the biggest break we've seen so far of Griffey, 50 hobby boxes, which is just insane.
Yeah.
So that's one example. Having someone come on here that wants to talk about gameplay strategy, you know, someone like Cursive or someone that's like even brand new, someone that's brand new to Boba and they just built a deck and they're like, this is how I thought about building it. I would love to talk through that with them live so people can kind of get a better idea of how to build a deck from scratch. Because I've actually been building decks like for like the last like 2 days.
You realize everybody is freezing that frame right now. They're gonna go back to the recording, freeze it. They're gonna tilt it sideways, and they're like, "This is how you play Soothing."
Yeah, exactly. So like it, you know, there's so many different people that we can have on, and you know, it'd be really really cool to even have an athlete on at some point that's in Boba, but that's a whole other thing. So
Yes, I agree with my pen pal Carlton Fisk. If it didn't take so long to go back and forth by the horse, I would. I actually, that's one of the things I was like, oh, the letter I have to write to Carlton asking him to come on here. I would love to. Carlton, in fact, didn't even want us to play at the Apex. Like, he just wanted to keep telling stories and talking, which I mean, I'm okay. If a Hall of Famer just wants to keep telling stories, you know, I'd be fine with that.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I love talking, especially athletes that like to talk about their experiences and things that went on. Because some of them are close-lipped, and they're like, you know, yeah, just, you know, and that's awesome. That's great. But you know, I love hearing the stories of the locker room and what went on. And oh, this game in 1984, I blah 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 blah. And they're like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, especially now I know like the Dennis Eckersley, gosh, who did I hear on MLB radio? The St. Louis Cardinals manager and the Oakland A, Tony La Russa. Tony La Russa, I didn't realize he and Eck had it. So, oh my gosh, I would have loved to talk to Eckersley about that. But, and I asked you just to talk about, because I don't want to, before you know it, we'll be an hour in, and I think we're trying to keep it under an hour. So I just wanted to put that out there, Soothing, so people in the audience could kind of hear what to expect and could provide any feedback. But getting back, there were a few more comments. Whiplash Jackson saying, Sister Britt better have signed up. I know she's excited about playing ever since she has found the game. She was great at National, Whiplash's daughter. Let's see. And by the way, Moro saying, just because we aren't in the tournament doesn't mean we can't still play and get games in with people in the league for practice. That's a great point, right, Soothing?
Yeah. No, I mean, the arenas that I made, those are open all the time, so you can play games at any point. I mean, we had it happen last night. A friend of mine, Burke D, just sent a message out and it was like, hey, does anyone want to play? He got a response right away and they were playing a game. Like, it's a great place just to be able to practice. And if you, like, you know, Mara said, if you're not in the league, you can still have practice games. And another thing I want to mention too is, as we get a little bit deeper into season 2, we're actually going to have some weekend tournaments. So some 1-2 day tournaments, maybe for 8-16 people to join into, that will have, you know, smaller pricing, but it'll be a nice quick turnaround type of tournament. And so we may test out some different tournament types as well, but it's something that could be really fun.
Yeah, I think that's exciting. Getting it. I think weekend tournaments is great. I think that's the hard part, is that, and how do you combat this, by the way, Soothing? Because, you know, there was a famous book a while ago, Why We Bowl Alone. And in the old days, people would be in a bowling league incredibly for like 32 weeks. Like, can you imagine people today Soothing, committing to every week at this time, I'm going to do something for 32 weeks, and you have to drive there. That's not just, that's not turning on your computer like this every week. This is like driving somewhere. And it, of course, it's famous about how our society's changed. So, Soothing, do you find that when you're trying to craft it, it's kind of hard because to a certain extent, if you give wiggle room and you say like, hey, you got to get your match in this amount of time. If you give too much time, right, then people will procrastinate and then they end up missing it. But if you say, like you're Valley Hitouts, like you're like, hey, this is sudden death. You got 10 seconds to put your price in this. Like people are on it. Whereas if you're just like, hey, at some point we're going to do it, people miss it later in the break that they're like, oh crap, they sold that spot. I really wanted to do it, but they lose focus. So to a certain extent is just what you're thinking with the Boba Online League is like allowing people that much wiggle room, but then worrying that they're going to forget about it.
Well, I mean, my thought process when starting the first one was like, everybody's busy. And I would say most of us have a day job. We're working and then we go home to our family. Like I decided to make it just like a football season. You have a week and then it goes to the next week and then it goes to the next week. So you have 7 days. So Tuesday to Tuesday is your time frame for playing your first week matchup. And then of course, going into week 2, Tuesday to Tuesday, and so on and so forth. And, I found a lot of success with that in season 1. Of course, to your point, people procrastinated, but I was lucky enough that the Boba team was going to offer a participation-esque award to everybody. So if you actually complete all 10 of your matches within the allotted time, which is 1 week, you get a cyber pack, which was only something we could get at the National previous to this. So now they're making their return. So especially for the people who just joined during Griffey, now you have an opportunity to get a cyber pack for absolutely free, other than time commitment and playing the game and learning the game that we all love and love collecting. Because if you're in the Discord League, I know you love Boba. So I'm excited. And there's so many new people learning to play. I have questions in my DMs every single day about certain play cards, about certain, how they should build decks, like all the time. And I love helping people. It gets a little overwhelming when I open my phone in the morning and I got 25 Discord messages, but I make my way through them and we have a good time. But yeah, I mean, the prizing is ridiculous. The top 12 prizing, the first place prize. I mean, come on. An all expenses paid trip to the National play in the Apex tournament without a ticket is absurd. I mean, talk about something to chase and something to compete for. Doesn't get much better than that. It's almost like a regional tournament. No,
I think people look back maybe in 2 years and they'll talk about they'll look back in a couple of years and they'll talk about how incredible it was. A famous story is the first Winter Brawl, the first regional tournament for Bo Jackson Battle Arena, was actually held in Columbia, South Carolina, near the mothership for Bo Jackson Battle Arena. And at the time, there were 16 slots for this, and the winner got a Bo ticket, got a Bo 24 ticket, and also ended up with the championship mat. And they didn't even fill up all 16 spots. Like people weren't willing to like drive to Columbia like at that point. And my son and I both did it, and it was great. We went over and we entered into it. And then I told, I'm going to give Troy a hard time. Everybody knows T-Roy, is that I told him and his wife, I was like, don't leave. I'm like, just don't leave. Like with Frenchie, like you never leave the stuff until they kick you out, because there's always another shoe that drops. So when the first one was wrapping up, Jeff walks around with, I can't remember. I think it was a booster box that he gave around. He walked around and handed everybody a sealed booster box and goes, okay, we're going to play another one. And you get to construct your deck, sealed from this. And there were, I think, 8 of us that were left. And he goes, and I'm going to give another Bo card for whoever wins this. So it's like the restaurant had kind of cleared out. There's like 8 of us and we're playing for a Bo card. And actually my son came, it was him and one other person. And my son, it came to it, Yo-Yo, my son and I, we were 3 out of 8. And we're like, we can do this. And like, at least my son made it to the finals. He did not get that. But the point is, you look at this opportunity, Mitch, like for this trip is like, what do you think the dollar value is on the top prize?
I mean, if you think about you have, first of all, your travel expenses, right? So, your flight, the hotel, all that kinds of stuff, your entry into that. So up to $2,500. But like, I mean, you get a blast box for competing in Apex. I mean, what do we value that at? And it's the one that the ticket holders get as well. So we saw one sell on eBay for $9,000. And then, what's the estimated value of getting to play in Apex and possibly winning a cash prize? I don't know. I mean, I could say $10,000, right? I mean, for what it is, for what you're getting out of it. Yeah, I think I could easily say $10,000, 5 figures.
Yeah.
So it's a crazy prize. And the fact that they allow that to be the prize is phenomenal. And it just shows how much they're willing to put behind their game to see it grow. And that's what I love. And the pricing that we see, and the national, there's $325,000 up for grabs. Like, you don't hear that from anybody. Nobody's doing things that at this level for a TCG game. Like, it's amazing. And it's a way to get to the sports collector's heart, is like, just like you had said earlier in the show, Slappy. It's like, I have this $5,000 card and I look at it on my shelf, but now I can use this card to win money and win a tournament. I mean, if it's a $5,000 card, it's probably a 200 power super. So that's going to win you some games.
Yep.
So,
and when you're talking about just, I do want to point out Mayor Joe saying, sorry, let me go back for a second, Soothing. Mayor Joe says that was a tough drive after the event. He was at that Winter Brawl. It was great seeing Mayor Joe there as well. I want to talk about that. Of course, him blinging out and Soothing, when you talk about, being able to take that card and win events. Of course, Troy, that was the first, I would say Troy is the first person who he had all these cards, like he was blinged out, like, and he was just showing everything. I think probably he was the first person to have a massive collection outside of Branch that he was showing around. And again, right, you don't see that with collectors of other big cardboard. Like, they don't keep it on tags that they're walking up to the even if there's no game, like, don't keep it on tags like they're showing it like this, right? It's in a box that they're walking around the show with. And it's a different mindset that you're going to do. I didn't see this comment, so hopefully there's nothing. But what I love is the base cards have value and usability. In sports cards, my base cards went to the trash. That's a great point by Moro.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when we rip packs and everything like that, we keep all the base. And as we get more time and throughout the week, we actually built starter decks for people here locally. And I know that we're not the only ones doing it.
Right.
And so that's super cool to me, is like, the boba ambassadors exist, and the people that love this game want to share it with people. And we can always go back to it, but the community that boba is the best community I've ever been a part of. Like, everybody, I haven't met anybody in this community that I just enjoy it. I enjoy it so much. It makes me so happy to see it, and just be based around a sports card, TCG game. Like, come on, it's so cool.
Right. Well, and that's, you get a number of folks is that they tend to, that's a bigger question we can get into. It's very hard, I think, for the Bo Jackson battle team, is that they do build something more than just simply product consumer. And it's both good and bad, right? It's the type of brand loyalty that most brands wish they have. But the downside is people feel like they have ownership over it. And that's what's hard. Like, right now, the values are aligned, right? The culture that they're building is, I think you can see the culture they want. It's there. It's just people excited. People, there's enough crap in the world. And this is a place you escape to have fun, to have camaraderie, to make friends. And that's what's great about this, right? And you think about this world, especially like anybody who has kids, right? Everything's online. And what's great about this is that, you went to Vegas, Soothing, is that this isn't an online thing. Like, this is how you actually, what in 2026 are you actually meeting people in real life? What event, what in your life is causing you to actually meet new people? And this is doing that, right? People are actually interacting, and not to sound stupid, like you're making friends. Like,
Yeah, no, you are making friends. I mean, like there's people that I've met through this community that I talk to on a daily basis now, like daily basis that like they would have my back in anything. Like even I swear some of them would probably take a bullet for me and I'd probably do the same. Like that's crazy. I've never met this person in real life yet. We met because of a card game and now have become so close that we talk on a daily basis. And
all right, well, flash poll. Who will take a bullet for Mitch? Quick. It's like, let's see this going. Hey Mitch, one thing.
Raise your hand, Slappy. No, I'm just kidding.
I want to show you something. Is that Rob and I this morning were talking about the sales report. I want to talk about business for 1 second. Do you mind if we just do something real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, of course, I do want to say.
Cards? Don't guess the price. Look up their value now at radishpriceguide.com.
All right. So speaking of radishpriceguide.com, I want to point this out is that hopefully I don't freeze there. Let's see. Let's add this guy on here. Oh, I got to remove this guy. Hold on. There we go. Can't add two right there. So just real quick, if you go to, this is the weekly boba eBay sales. And one thing I just want to know, Soothing, is that some folks have said, they go to 130 after for the final price. Just to let you know, everything at Radish Price Guide, that is the final price. It's not the listed price. So when you see the data there, you're actually looking what the final price was. But I want to just go ahead, and if you go, yeah, good, it's actually popping up. If you go along the bottom, what's amazing, Mitch, is if you look at the bottom, like for August 25th, 2025. So this was after National. The weekly sales were $33,000. Fast forward to last week, $78,000 is what was for December 29th. And, to a certain extent, that was a little bit slower, I think, probably because of Christmas. Like if you go back to December 8th, it was $91,000. So this is for folks who just love data. And of course, if you scroll down, you can see the top individual sales last week. So the kid went for $2,000. And then the lowest one on the top 10 list was the grandmama. But I just wanted to point that out, Mitch, because for folks who love data, like Rob is a data person. So Radish Price Guide, like you want to see everything. You can go ahead and see it there. I just love breaking everything down that way.
No, it's really awesome. I mean, it's a great tool to keep track of pricing. I mean, when people talk about like, where do I find boba pricing? Where do I find it? It's so hard to comp these. Like, eBay is of course always going to be the best, and just being able to have everything in one specific location is awesome. So.
Yeah. Well, and we try to just make it easier to see there. So, Soothing, I know you and I talked about it, and I don't want to out it if you're not willing to, but you mentioned there's some kind of banger card, and like, don't have to give any context, so that way I don't have to. It's like, is that something that's going to be shared or no?
Yeah, we could share that. Let me find it.
All right, and this is the context of it. Well, it's like, I know I don't want to ask you to walk and chew gum, but I was like, you could explain the context. This is something we saw in one of your breaks.
No. No, me and my partner, my business partner, we were at the office, and I'm not sure how do I share this. We were at the office and we had some collector boosters hanging around from Alpha Update, and we decided, hey, why not rip one? Because we love ripping. We're collectors at heart, man. I mean, yes, we break, and it's so much fun, and I love it. And I love hitting big cards for people, but we're also collectors, man. And I love collecting this stuff. For instance, I collected all the Miami Ice cards. I'm only missing 2. So like it's ingrained in me, but this was pretty insane.
Wait, so you said it was out of a hobby?
It was out of a collector booster from Alpha Update.
Okay. Collector booster from Alpha Update.
Yep.
And is it yours or his, or both of yours?
It's both of ours.
Okay.
Let's see.
And let me ask you this question. Like, do you ever feel and like, if you didn't have this feeling, I'm not trying to put it in your head because you shouldn't, but do you ever feel uncomfortable sharing a big hit? Because as a breaker, it's just some people who are just really like, we've all been to the casinos. We see where people are degenerating, right? And like, there's a jealousy of other people. So do you ever feel bad sharing an actual big hit that's personal that wasn't in the stream because you're like, oh, I feel bad because my following didn't get that. The people who come and support me, I feel bad they didn't get it, so I don't want to like dance around and be happy about it, right? Are you conflicted at all? Or be honest and be like, no, I'm just so excited.
Well, listen, I'm conflicted because yes, I love hitting big cards and breaks. I want to hit big cards for people. That makes me so happy to see their reaction in chat and then receive it and post it in Discord and see it in their hands. And they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. I love this. But at the same time, I'm also that person. Like I'm also that person that buys into breaks and wants to hit a big card and share it with people. So it's like it's a tale of two worlds. And I mean, I try to just be myself, and myself would be to share it. I don't want to necessarily brag about it, but I'm pretty happy that I pulled it. But at the end of the day, it's like I happened to get the pack that had the card in it. Right? It's not like it someone else could have had. I don't know, but I don't know. How do I
so if you down at the bottom of the screen where it says presenter invite and there's like a TV with a plus sign in the middle of it.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead and click that, and then you can share the files directly. You don't even have to have a screen. You can just share it. It says share a file. I won't go and ask you. I'll leave this question hanging. Is that, of course, you know, if you're somebody who breaks, there's product you get, you know, you buy a lot, you have an allotment, and it can go towards breaking, but like, you know, it's understand there'll be some slippage, you know, maybe you take a box off, like, because you're bored, like I don't know, Cursive talks about like, or was it Cursive? Somebody was talking about like, we just had to rip it, like when we were backstage. So I'm going to leave this one unsaid. Like, was it a box that was intended to go towards a break, or was it one that was always like part of your private collection?
No, it was one part of our private collection.
All right.
Yeah, for sure. For
sure. Hey, at Valley Hit House, though, everything in your possession is one step away from being part of your break. So I like, no, but I'm teasing you. You tell me when you want me to put it on.
Yeah, go ahead. Pretty insane. So I you know, it's funny when you peek the cards and you see the bat, and that's the only card you know of that's got a bat in it. But yeah, Bojack's Hex Auto 1 of 10.
Oh my God, what are you guys gonna do with it? That's
going in an Apex deck, baby.
So definitely not for sale.
Nope. That is going in a deck.
What would you estimate the value at? 11,000, 12,000?
5 figures. Put it at that.
Yeah. All right. So if you're saying it's going in a deck, if somebody offered you $100,000 for it.
Okay. So I mean, yes, sold.
Okay. If somebody, well, let's go at 50,000. You're telling me at 50,000, you're not selling that.
I would probably sell it at 50.
It's 1 out of 10. All right.
Yeah.
And I'd say 25,000 is still like, it's under 20 where it gets questionable for you. 25,000. Are you selling that?
It depends on who it's going to.
Ooh. Okay. And so depending if you still have those people in mind that you'd sell it to, if it's $18,543, would you sell it then?
Probably not. I think that like cut off there. I think it would need to be an offer of upward of 20. And that's, you know, it's because I don't want to sell it. I want to keep it. Like I said, I'm a collector, man. I mean, that's like the coolest card that we have. So I love it. Yeah, the tank top. I know. Yeah, go Suns, baby. Belly up.
Oh my gosh. I'm going back up the wrong way. Look at everybody's reaction to you.
Oh man. Pegasus.
I love, by the way, is that I know like none of us want to sell, but like the reality is there's always a price point. There just simply has to be. Like there's not a card you have, like if I gave you $1 million of any bow card, you wouldn't be able to sell. So my favorite thing is to get it down to a number that you'd be willing to sell. But I will say this. So I hold a Joe Theismann 1 of 1, the super auto Joe Theismann from Alpha. And it's funny because when back then when the community was much smaller, and it seems like everybody hit you get a super, and but people who would sell it, I thought to myself, I'm like, what's the point of doing all this? Like, if you're not gonna keep like one of the grail cards of the set, and like to me, having a super is like even the least desirable, hero it's still a super.
Right.
And this is a game we're playing, whether you're collecting or you're actually playing the game. And if you're not willing to keep a super and you're just going to trade it away, I understand people are building like, you're talking about your ice set that you were building. That's a little bit different, like to get to that. Like I could see that. Like, are you going to keep your ice set forever?
I can't see why I wouldn't.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
unless I offered you $1 million.
Well, sure. And if that offer's on the table, Slappy, I'm good to go if you are.
Oh, congratulations. So tell us about when you guys ripped it. So first of all, you ripped it, right? Now your partner?
Mhm. Yep.
So you own 60%, he owns 40.
Yeah.
So did your hand shake at all? Or like, did you like when you were trying to put it into like
Oh
to
my
protect
goodness.
it?
Talk
that?
about shakes. I mean, I was the whole time.
Did you put it down the right away, or did you in your hand, like, did you have sleeves ready to go while you guys were ripping?
So there's a video somewhere. So we were at our new studio, which is a card shop, and we were in the front card shop, and they have a 360 camera there. And so I've asked them to get that video. But basically, the card was in my hand. I peeked the right side, was like, oh, it's a numbered auto. Sick. Saw Hex and then the baseball bat. And I threw that card down, ran through the entire card shop and ran back. And the guys that were doing the card, at the card shop, I'm introducing them into boba. They're getting really, really excited about it.
Yeah.
But they were like, what? And
Yeah.
I like slipped the card and I lost my mind. Adam lost his mind. We were flipping out, it was so much fun. And so I'll have to figure out to get a way to get that video.
Yeah. Oh my
yeah.
gosh. I cannot wait to see that video.
But it was crazy too, because like the guys at the sports shop, they're mainly Pokemon guys. And so when I showed them that card and they're like, oh my goodness, like what is that worth? And I was like, at least 5 figures. Their mind was blown.
Yep.
They're like, what? And speaking of being mind blown, I was on TikTok the other day. And I used to buy into sports breaks, and there was this one guy who I used to buy into. I'm not going to name any names, but I went into his room and he said, what's up to me? And I told him kind of what I was doing. And that was the day that I hit the Bojacks. And I was like, yeah, like today, dude, it was awesome. Like we had a great break. And then we decided to rip open a box and we hit this, 5-figure Bojacks auto card out of 10. And he's like, that's a bunch of BS. That Bojacks card would never go for 10,000. If you were to go get a flawless 101 logo auto of Bojacks, that card would maybe be 3. I could never see a Bojacks card being 10.
Yeah.
And like just like the negativity. And I was like, dang, dude, like it's crazy. First of all, it's crazy the difference of attitude from the boba community to the sports card world. And I think that a lot of people like leave the sports card world because of the negativity and come here because it is so positive. But yeah, just like Steve said, they don't know Bo. And it's just crazy. I mean, it's just parallel, right?
Did you ever see it was some folks were sharing it. I felt like it was end of year, but it wasn't end of this year. I don't know. Maybe it was back during the national. Excuse me, when they shared the sale of the Bo non-auto versus some big cardboard Bo card. Did you see that where somebody did like an Instagram reel about it? Why that sold for 20,000 and this one sold for like, and it, because people were trying to understand this, but at the end of the day, collecting and valuation is about, it's whatever somebody's willing to pay you for that. And it is fascinating to me. Like I look at card values, like I love collecting, like but I'm much more of like when I was a little kid I collected baseball cards. I've never been way into it like some folks are. And it's interesting, right? The Bo battle is kind of merging folks who are kind of amateurs like me, and then folks who are like have been going to the National Card Show every year and they have their steel case and they know everything what to do. And I'm getting there. I have my steel case now. But it's interesting because when I look at, when you think at, the 86 Jordan and different cards like this, and then you start looking at some of the valuations on the Bo and like compared to big cardboard, and the Bo collection is increasing in value at a much greater rate. In fact, you know what's really funny is I was going through at radishpriceguide.com, we have sealed price, and it will show you it's sorted by the last sale. And so, of course, there's a bunch of alpha products sealed that hasn't sold, obviously, in a month because there's nothing out there. But there was something like, oh, there was the Big League Chew Box, which was a national exclusive from the alpha update.
That's where you got the 25 ticket too.
Yeah, yep, and you could get the 25 ticket. But with the Big League Chew it was $200, and when I looked at the sale that just took place, it was $400, and my reaction was, that's actually a slow grower. I'm like, that one's only, and I honestly, my reaction was, it's only $400. I'm like, what's wrong with this? It's only 2x in 6 months.
Yeah.
So, well, actually, excuse me, 4 months. It's only 2x in 4 months. But I mean, Soothing. So it's, in some ways you can say, like, and let's be honest, this is not financial advice. There could be a bubble, right? We all remember tulips. Like, for those of you with your Dutch relatives, remember the big tulip bulb balloon that happened. But it's also possible it's a new paradigm, right? This is different, right? Because this isn't, there's no greater value. You were talking about hitting these. We started the show and you were talking about hitting these monster cards to packs that are accessible to everyone. There's no greater value in sports cards than Bo Jackson Battle Arena, period. But the bigger question is, like, it's hard to compare it to sports cards because it is sports cards, but it's TCG, it's entertainment, it's community, it's something different. So I don't know what that's worth, but the market's telling us it's worth a hell of a lot more than what big cardboard's offering.
I fully agree. I mean, like, when I found boba, I was fully in, 2 feet in, and I think it took me two days to decide that I'm going to sell all my sports cards because I love this stuff, and people have been amazing to me since I joined the community, and I only want to, give that favor back to the new people joining. I love it so much, and I just don't think that exists in the sports card world. I mean, I really don't, and we always joke about it too, like, in the chat or in the Discord, main Discord, it's like chat, bid chat. It's time to go up. We're way too low, when it comes to breaks. And, like, you just don't see that in the boba community, man. I mean, we're just there. We're happy to be there. We're happy to be in this position to be able to open the packs and have a good time with everybody. And yes, does everybody come into my streams to clown me? 100%. And I love it. I have such a fun time. Yes, I'm locked up in prison because I can't pull a super, and there's plenty of other things going on, but the community is amazing, and people are Big Rob. Hey, Big Rob's the real GOAT. Shout out to Radish, shout out to Big Rob for the bobaleagues.com website. But I appreciate everybody, and
by the way, I do want to say one good comment from Joseph that he got in there where he said, I think that people mistake value for liquid value. And that's a great comment because, of course, the card that you were just showing that we had up is that one is, let me get it back up there. When we talk about it's a 5-figure card, can you liquidate it today for that 5 figures? No, you couldn't do it right now today. Well, actually, I think you could. It'd be low 5 figures. I don't think it's something you'd be happy with. And it's not what the true value is. So that is important to remember. And I think Joseph's comment probably was going back to that person you were talking about where they went in like, no, that's not worth 5 figures because they're thinking they haven't seen a sale for that. But of course, that's not true. And that's one thing about the Bo Battle community that perhaps that helps with the valuations, right? People are, yes, we have the flippers, but you have so many people. It's still such a small set. And you have so many people who have diamond hands and aren't selling. So when you look at that 1 of 10 card that we just put on the screen for you, how many of those are ever going to be for sale? Well, you're not looking to sell. Like if somebody makes you an outrageous offer, you're going to. So that's where the pricing has to come from. You know what? Actually, somebody pointed out to me that Amon Ra, there were some early promotional cards that were offered to the community, those of us who bought in before it was actually even printed. And I was shocked because I know in Hobby Club, an Amon Ra promotional card, I think it's a 195 power level.
Yeah, the glow.
It went for $800 when Hobby Club was liquidating. Is a Soothing. Did you see what it went for on eBay? I guess a few days ago.
No.
$2,000. $2,000.
Holy crap.
That is the 2000's a little shocking to me. It's a great card, but
Yeah.
it's not an auto. It's not 200. I don't know how many total there are out there. I think they released how much it is, but I think it's 25 to 50. I think the range is between 25 and 100. So it's not one of 10,
Right.
but conversely, you also don't, getting back to what I was saying about you not selling yours. How many Amon-Ra promotional cards do you see for sale? Have you ever seen, besides that Hobby Club one?
No, I was lucky enough to get one in a trade, but the only reason I got in a trade is because I had a card that the other person wanted. And so they brought it out of their vault and was like, "Well, would you take this?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, sure." But like, yeah,
Right.
it's especially those high powered cards, like especially from Alpha, like
Yep.
190 to 200. Like if you see one for sale, you may look at it for sale at $3,000. You're like, that's so overpriced. But it's the only one. It's the only one out there for sale, right?
Right.
So I don't know.
All right. Well, Soothing, I'll turn it back to you, but I know we hit an hour, so
Yeah.
you tell me what you want to do.
Well, I have some closing thoughts. They are hard to hit. But this weekend coming up, SCG Con Atlanta. I unfortunately will not be there. But I know a ton of you guys are going. I don't know if Slappy, are you going to be there? Boo. Yeah, me too. But I'm excited for you guys all going to Atlanta. I had a grand time in Vegas. I hope Atlanta is just as good. I actually just booked my flight for Portland. So I will see you guys in Portland for the 23rd to the 25th. I know. But I wish you guys all the best of luck in Atlanta, in the sealed and in the spec. And I'm shooting for my Team Valley folks. Though we don't have our jerseys yet, we are still one. So I'm excited, man, for you guys. I wish I could be there, but I will be at the next one.
Is that all you got? You said you had some closing comments. Is that going to be it, Mitch?
Well, that's the one. And then got a break coming up in about 2 hours here.
All right, and hold on. So if you're watching this, we're live. Of course, this is being live on Tuesday, January 6th at noon Eastern. So you have a break coming up in 2 hours. And what's it going to feature?
It is going to feature me in prison with a face tattoo because I still can't pull a super. And we'll probably see a hobby box or two and some double megas and have a fun grand old time. And then I'm going to send you all over to the Filthy 50 with Bazooka Vault, and they're going to pull some nukes. So, oh, yes. Thank you, Cursive. Big U and Pulls and Pars. That is another thing I wanted to mention. They are having a massive break in Atlanta. So they are going to be breaking from the Atlanta stage. I'm not 100% sure on what it is going to be entirely. I believe it's going to be some cases of hobby, some cases of megas. But I'm excited for them. They're going to do a little battle like me and Devin did in Vegas between Pulls and Pars and Big U. So I'm excited for them. So make sure you guys are checking that out. That'll be this weekend in Atlanta as well.
Well, so in Soothing, let me ask you this, because Bazooka, how late do you think the Bazooka break will go with those 50?
Devin's going to say something crazy on stream. He's going to be like, "Oh, man, I'll be done ripping these boxes by like 1 a.m." I'm going to wake up in the morning at 7 in the morning. He's going to still be ripping. He'll be at like box 43.
So, because I was going to say, what's really hard, right, is that it would be, in some ways, it'd be great for you to go after him to get the audience, but not if he finishes at 6 a.m. Like that, it'd be great if he started at 9 a.m. and then he finished just in time for you, like to lead into you.
I don't know. For 50 boxes, that's 1,000 packs. I mean, yeah, that's a lot of packs to rip. So I know they haven't been live in a long time. So, Devin and I talked, and he was like, "Well, I'm gonna come in with a bang." And I was like, "Oh, that's a bang, Devin. 50 hobby boxes is a bang." So I'm excited for them. They're going to pull some nukes tonight. The Bazooka guys. So, I mean, obviously Team Valley, we're building a team for play. Bazooka has a team for play. Shoot Straight has a team for play, but it's all friendly competition, especially with Bazooka and Valley. It's definitely friendly competition. Devin and I talk a bunch of crap to each other, but it's all in good spirit. So
Yeah, nobody believes that the bubblegum could have like a mean bone in his body. I'm 90% sure with you don't, but like Soothing, like it's not a knock against you. Bubblegum's like one step above you, like niceness. Like I would be shocked if I've ever found out like he didn't
sure.
smile. This is how a bubblegum king falls asleep at night.
I know. Man, it's funny though, because like in Vegas, you know, I was like, yeah, no, let's go get some drinks. Let's like have a good time. Let's gamble. Let's do this. Let's like, you know, we're in Vegas. I've never played blackjack before. I'm like, dude, you're so pure. I was like, but I totally know what you mean.
So did he play?
He did. And I'll tell you what, man, that was one lucky MFer. Tell you what, we sat down and within 12 hands, he had hit 7 blackjacks. He's like, is this good? I was like, dude, I hate you.
No, it's terrible. Oh my gosh. All right. So getting back to your break though, is that so you're starting at 2:00 Eastern. And
2:00 Eastern.
2:00 Eastern. Okay. And what about the rest of the week?
We have breaks every day. I think we usually have a big break on the weekends. I'm still uncertain on if we're gonna have a big break this weekend. Just to kind of let Pulls and Pars and Big U have their flowers. I want to see that do really good, and they're actually both part of the play team of Valley, so we're support, and I'm excited for them. I'm really excited for them.
And right now in the description of the YouTube, if you're watching, if on X it's not there, but in YouTube you can find it, is the link to Valley Hit House whatnot. So if you're watching this right now, click on the link right in here. Go ahead and bookmark it for the show that's coming up in 2 hours. All right, Soothing. So why don't you send us off and you tell me, and I'll hit the outro.
All right. 2 things. I hope I hit a super today, and we'll be back next week, Tuesday at the same time.
Yeah, lights on, screens up, here we go. Welcome to Radish Digital's weekly show, breaking down the plays, the pulls, the plans, straight from the floor of the battle arena stand. Hey, hey. Every week we're talking power and plays, what just shook the game, what's setting the pace, from big time heroes to moments that matter. If it moved the arena, we're on it right after. From Valley Hit House to Radish Digital, news and highlights, yeah, it's all official. Debates, rankings, what's coming next? If it's Boba talk, you can check the text. Turn it up, settle in, let the breakdown begin. This week at Bo Jackson Battle Arena,
Hosted by Slappy and Soothing.
welcome to the arena.